I actually became interested in biomedical engineering as a junior in high school. I had never heard of it, but I loved biology, chemistry, physics, and calculus. And I was curious about what field I could go into where I could use all of those disciplines and bring them together. And I was fortunate to have a father who was an engineering professor at Duke University, and they had a biomedical engineering department in their engineering school. And he turned me on to it and said, hey, I think there's this engineering discipline out there that actually will bring together the biology with the math and the physics and the chemistry. And I said, that sounds like it's for me. So I actually decided as like a 17-year-old that that's what I wanted to do, because that's what I liked in school. And that's what I was good. Those were the classes I was good at. So my dad, in many ways, so he was an engineering professor. He was a civil and environmental engineer. And I used to go into his lab, as a teenager, and I would hang out with his graduate students, and I saw his experiments in his lab, and it was, messy and sticky and smelly. And I just thought it was really interesting. And I got excited about working as a team. Actually, I really appreciated that science is a team thing and a team endeavor. It takes a lot of people with a lot of creativity and a lot of diversity of thought. And I just thought that was a type of environment that I wanted to work in. So yeah, I was very fortunate. My dad's my hero. I should also mention my mom. She's a teacher. She was a teacher at the North Carolina State School for the Blind. So she taught kids with a lot of challenges, and she had to use, a lot of different skills in figuring out how best to teach. And she's an amazing teacher as a result. And so the teaching aspect, I think, is something that my mom really, inspired and showed me that that's a passion that I have. So I think my parents are my two heroes in science and teaching, and I'm very lucky for them. It's always a ongoing, struggle, or an ongoing activity, I should say. Some days are a struggle. Some days it feels like the management works a little bit better. I am very fortunate to have an amazing support group. So I have an incredible husband who does a lot of work around the house. He helps out with our children. He also has a full-time job, so he's also managing and balancing. So we get each other, like we understand that and can work together. And I have wonderful friends. I have wonderful colleagues. They are always supportive. I mean, I started in my department 17 years ago. And over that time, I had two children. I've raised two children. They're now in middle school. I have wonderful colleagues who have, at various times, when I was on maternity leave, they stepped in and taught classes. When I had to take my kids to the doctor, spur of the moment, I have, colleagues that would step in and, help with whatever needed to be done. So yeah, I'm really lucky to have a support group. It's tremendously empowering and necessary, I think. But a lot of it too is, the priorities, and appreciating that, I think, us understanding that you can't be perfect at everything. And it's a matter of just doing the best you can. And oftentimes the best you can is really good enough, right? And so there's a bit of just, I won't say lowering expectations for yourself, because it's not really that. It's just appreciating everything that you're doing makes you who you are. And so just trying your best is really all you can do, and not beating yourself up if a couple things now and then fall through the cracks, right? Easy to do, but what I realized is putting pressure on yourself, it only creates negative mental drain. Essentially, it sucks energy that you could otherwise put towards being great or being happy or being great and happy, right?
Right.
Yeah, there's not enough time in the day to perseverate on the negative thoughts. So it's best just to have the discipline of the mind to steer yourself away. Everybody has them, of course, but to steer yourself away and not perseverate on them. I will say it has its challenges. There's definitely been times where the challenges are more internal, like in my head, maybe just kind of feeling like an outsider. And there's also times when the challenges are external, like I'm the only woman in the room with a diverse perspective. And, how do I make my case when other men in the room don't necessarily have the same life experiences that I've had, right? So that's a challenge. And I think those types of challenges of kind of pushed me to have to hone my communication skills and my powers of persuasion, right? You have to really think about, how do I explain my unique, perspective to people that don't have that. And it takes energy, it takes effort, it takes patience, right? It takes understanding that the other person might not really, get where you're coming from, and that's okay. So being patient and persistent, right? So just, not giving up if you believe in something. It is, yeah, it has been a challenge at times, but everybody's challenged in different ways too. And I think that's an important thing to think about, right? It's not a gender thing always. It's not, a sexual identity. It's not race. It's not ethnicity. Everybody is unique and has their own set of challenges. And, we all come to the table with that, and we all have to deal with that when we're working with other people and when we're experiencing our professional life. Oh, I would say follow your passion, right? If you really love science, don't be scared that you're not good enough. Don't be scared that you haven't had all the background and training that other people have to be able to do something. Don't be scared when other people tell you you can't, right? You have to kind of believe, it's that believe in yourself, and be your own advocate. Right. And also, along with that, you don't have to do it alone, right? Like, find mentors. And there's a lot of amazing mentors out there. I have incredible mentors, men, women, peers, my students are my mentors in many ways. And it takes that kind of balance of, a support group, a village to make an amazing scientist, but also that amazing scientist needs to realize that they can do it. And if they want to do it, then they just need to do it, right? All of the barriers that you might think are out there, they're really not out there. And it's just a matter of deciding. And if you will face hurdles, you will face challenges, that's when you can rely on that support network to help you through it.